The terror attack in New Orleans raises questions about barriers that could have saved lives, but were missing that deadly day.
Where there are defects in this system, we are going to be transparent.
We look at efforts in Texas to get more safety bollards to protect the public.
So many folks who are experiencing fentanyl poisoning have no idea that they're taking fentanyl.
Drug testing strips can detect fentanyl and save lives, but right now they're illegal in Texas. We look at the bipartisan work underway to change the law. Controversy revs up at the Capitol for a law that limits lawsuits over deadly truck crashes. We investigate what's behind the push to expand the law and the balance between business and safety. Wait times to get a Texas driver's license can last weeks, even months. The impact of staffing shortages and the request from DPS that could make the process faster.
Produced from the Capitol in Austin and airing statewide, this is the award-winning State of Texas.
Hello and thank you for joining us. I'm Josh Hinkle. Just a few hours into the new year, a driver plowed a rented truck into a New Orleans street full of people. Investigators call it an act of terror, and the suspect was a Texan. The FBI identified the man behind the wheel as Shamsuddin Jabbar, an Army veteran who lived near Houston. He died in a shootout with police. The attack killed 14 people, among them an aspiring nurse, a football star, a mother, and a father. The deadly terrorist attack is raising questions about a safety measure that had the potential to save lives, but was missing that day. The city of New Orleans confirmed safety barriers protecting Bourbon Street were under construction and not in place during the deadly French Quarter attack. Investigator Kelly Wiley follows a push in Austin and statewide for more safety bollards.
Barriers that could have prevented a Ford pickup truck from plowing into a crowd on Bourbon Street were missing at the time of the attack. Just in the last month, the city of New Orleans began replacing its wedge-shaped walls meant to block traffic. On this New Year's Eve, when Bourbon Street draws some of its largest crowds, city officials say they used police cars instead.
In this particular case, terrorists just went all the way around up onto the sidewalk.
Rob Ryder with the Storefront Safety Council says police cars as safety barriers are not effective.
A determined attacker can push the vehicle out of the way using, a low-speed crash.
A recent study from the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency identified at least 51 vehicle attacks in the United States between 2000 and 2022. Including some where the vehicles held improvised explosive devices.
I've never seen those steel and force barricades put up in 7 years. They've never been up. If those were put in place to prevent accidents like this since 2017, why weren't they back in use?
In Texas, a state lawmaker filed a bill that would require crash-rated safety bollards outside most of the state's hospitals. It comes after a KXAN investigation into a deadly crash into an Austin emergency room. The reporting also resulting in the Austin City Council passing an ordinance requiring bollards outside new medical facilities.
Are you convinced that this will save lives?
Absolutely, this will save lives.
Councilmember Zoe Kadri told KXAN he would also like to see safety bollards in downtown Austin, citing a 2014 incident where a man drove into a crowd at South by Southwest, killing 4 people. In a statement, Kadri said the tragedy in New Orleans underscores the need for the city to remain dedicated to safe streets and public spaces. He also said city officials are looking into putting bollards on Congress Avenue. Back in New Orleans, Governor Jeff Landry is vowing to fix gaps in safety around the French Quarter.
All right, look. We could go on what ifs forever. This is evil. Where there are defects in this system, we are going to be transparent and we are going to address them with the city and make sure that we fill those gaps as best we can.
In Austin, Kelly Wiley, State of Texas.
Congressman Lloyd Doggett also took note of our investigation. He asked the General Services Administration to review all federally owned and leased buildings in the southwestern U.S., including Louisiana, amid an increased number of deaths and injuries from a lack of safety bollards. People around the world are mourning the death of Jimmy Carter. He died last Sunday at the age of 100, making him the longest living U.S. president. But it was Carter's life after the White House that many find most notable, including his work to build homes with Habitat for Humanity. For 40 years, the Jimmy and Rosalind Carter Work Project has helped create affordable homes in communities around the world. This year, the project is coming to Austin. Our Jala Washington spoke with the CEO of Austin Habitat for Humanity about how the project will help the community and honor Carter's legacy.
Talk to me about the 2025 Jimmy Rosalind Carter Works project and how it will impact us here in Austin.
Right. So, this was started by former President Jimmy Carter and his wife, Rosalind, and we will be the first habitat that has the honor and privilege of honoring their memories as we launch this project in October of 2025. President Carter and his wife started this going to one community every year or country to do a build of a number of homes. We applied last year and received the honor of being selected as the site for 2025. It's a joint project between Habitat International and Austin Habitat. We will build 25 homes in 1 week with about 4,000 volunteers on site, over 800 each day, coming together to celebrate President Carter's memory and to continue his legacy of giving back of your time, talent, and treasure.
How does it feel as an organization to be a part of this? I mean, you guys were selected to host this, but now you're going to be doing so after President Carter's passing.
It's a huge responsibility to carry on the legacy of someone who is probably one of the top 5 most well-known humanitarians. And so we are going to work with Habitat International to really use this build to honor and encourage the legacy by having hundreds of people on site every day with hammers and nails and great attitudes, all working together towards one common cause, which is really back to the core of America, neighbors helping neighbors. And again, this is affordable home ownership. So families and individuals will own this property and be able to pass it on for generations. So it's a legacy in building a home that also, I think, connects well to a legacy of an incredible humanitarian.
48 homes will be built in the first phase of the project, and the CEO also says the group is looking to have home applications locked in as soon as possible.
Fentanyl test strips would be highly helpful in curbing the deaths.
Drug testing strips that can detect fentanyl are illegal in Texas, and legislation to change that failed last session. But there's a bipartisan push to try again. Lobbyists push to expand a Texas law that makes it more difficult to sue trucking companies after a deadly crash. We investigate how that law impacts victims seeking justice and what industry groups want lawmakers to do next.